Let's go back to Chris Paul with the whole David Stern thing. At first, the Hornets were going to get Luis Scola, Lamar Odom, Kevin Martin. It seemed like a solid three that they were getting. In the end, they get Al-Farouq Aminu, they get Eric Gordon, and they get Chris Kaman. Firstly, why did the first trade not go through?
Simple. It was just a matter of age and the length of contracts. If you looked at the guys, Lamar Odom, Luis Scola, Kevin Martin was owed $24 million over the next 2 years. Scola was owed somewhere in the neighborhood of $9 million a year for the next 3 years. And, these guys, and Odom was $8.9 million for this year. The problem was two things. The Hornets don't have a lot of money. I mean, they've been kind of digging out of a hole financially for a while. So they didn't want, or David Stern, who's operating the Hornets right now for the league, didn't want them to take on that type of salary. And that was a problem. The other thing is, Luis Scola's only been in the NBA now 5 years, but he's 31, 32 years old. And so they thought he was too old. Lamar Odom has been in the league 13 years. They thought he would be too old. Kevin Martin is only 29, but he's been around for 9 years. So they just didn't see that, even though these are all good players and they would make you a playoff team, 3 years from now, where would the Hornets be with these guys? And that was the first problem. The second problem, which probably was the biggest problem, was the size of the contracts and the length of the contracts. Whereas if you look at this Los Angeles Clippers deal, it gives them, they have good players, but Al-Farouq Aminu and Eric Gordon together, because they're on their rookie scale contracts, those are, they combine for $6.5 million. Just for those two guys, and they're pretty good players. And the other thing that they got out of this, aside from those two guys and Chris Kaman, is they got draft picks. They got a first-round draft pick for next year that the Clippers originally got from the Minnesota Timberwolves that's unprotected, meaning it could conceivably turn into the #1 overall pick, because no one expects the Timberwolves to make the playoffs this year. And then for a few years down the line, they got more draft picks as well. So you got to look at the big picture with this and why this trade went through versus the previous one not going through.
Now, why? I mean, we've heard several NBA players call out David Stern and even call him a bully. I mean, why? If it seems like you're making a solid argument on David Stern's part, play devil's advocate for a second, why would the players talk about the commissioner the way that they did?
Well, you're coming off the collective bargaining agreement, where a person could reasonably argue, depending if you agree with the players' perspective during the CBA talks, a person could reasonably argue that Stern bullied them into that position, representing the owners of the league, making them they took 7% less in basketball-related income, and Stern got a lot of concessions from the Players Association. So you got to consider a lot of these players right now, they were really hurt coming off this collective bargaining agreement, which created the lockout. So they blame Stern for twisting the screws to the men. So some of it's hurt feelings. You could argue that Stern he gets what he wants. And the reputation, he's had that for quite some time, that he's a really strong negotiator. His background is in negotiation before he became commissioner of the NBA. So it's not to be, he said the other day in the press conference dealing with this trade, he said, I'm not in this to make friends. I'm in to make things happen. I run the New Orleans Hornets right now. I don't want to, but I have to, and I'm going to do it the way that I think is best. And if you don't like it, tough. And so I understand his position, but I also understand why players feel that way about him. So, I think maybe 6 months from now, players won't be quite as rough on him. But I think, like I said, coming off the collective bargaining talks, I'd expect that from them.
I understand that their initial reasoning was because of basketball reasons, quote unquote. How much pressure, and let's keep it in perspective here, how much pressure was put on David Stern by the owners to not let the trade go through to the Lakers, where they could team up with a solid 3 players in Kobe, Andrew Bynum, and Chris Paul?
Well, I mean, there was owners putting pressure on Stern. He admitted that a couple of owners emailed him about the trade and wanted it rejected. I know for a fact Mark Cuban, who I talked to during that process, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. I know Mark Cuban objected to it. He told me that on the record. They.
Why did they object to it, though? What was the core reason?
Well, they gave that kind of general example like David Stern for basketball reasons. But look, the bottom line is this. They didn't want those players, common sense says they didn't want those players to go to the Western Conference team like the Hornets, and they didn't want Chris Paul to go to the Lakers because that might have spelled doom for their team's chances to advance in the playoffs. I think that's very clear. And actually Stern made that point when he said, the reason why I run the Hornets, and even though technically every owner in the league is 129th owner of the Hornets, I make all the decisions. And the reason is, if these guys, these other owners, especially in the Western Conference, made the decision for the Hornets, they would obviously not would do what's in the best interest of the Hornets. They would do what's in the best interest of their team.
Right.
So he's put in a position, I think Stern is, where he can't win. And I think part of the problem, too, is, look, his position is inherently a conflict of interest. I mean, there's no other way around it. But the Hornets are in flux. They don't have ownership right now. So I don't think there's really much of a choice. I don't think it's ideal, but come up with a better choice or a way to run the franchise, and I think he'd be willing to listen to it. And I think, I would be able to say, hey, somebody has a better idea. Tell me what it is. I just don't know what it is. I think it's a no-win situation for either side.